to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, introductions of board members and guests. If we could start with those who are removed.
That's me.
You're not that remote.
Marjan?
Marjan Salvador.
Yes.
Jeff Grandy. Jeff Michael.
Paula Severly.
Robert Lee.
Aaron Bear.
Trisha Erie.
Okay, any agenda revisions? Hearing none. Do we have an approval for board minutes of February 10th?
A motion to approve the minutes is written.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second, no discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next up, student representative report. Do we have Sophia?
I think she is coming up from mock trials, but I'm happy to share
We-
on her behalf, or do you want to wait?
We can wait. We can
Okay,
shuffle
that would
it.
be great.
We'll shuffle number two. Next up, the superintendent's report.
Yeah, don't have much for you this evening. I do, just, wanted to share some sad news. We had a longtime staff member of ours, longtime community member. His wife was our former mayor, sadly passed away this past week. He's contributed innumerable, amounts of his time and life to our community. He was a former coach on many fronts, volleyball, softball, security for a long time. He had just had a tremendous impact on our community. So Mr. Tom Malone, we just want to share our condolences with his family. And I know at some point we'll probably be helping them host memorial service. I also think the families they made some contributions to No Pioneer Left Behind Fund. So we might help some students in activities and athletics participate as a result of the kind of contributions made by the family. So just want to make you guys aware of that.
So next up is citizen agenda. So individuals who wish to speak on a topic not listed on the agenda below may do so at this point. Each speaker has a 3-minute time limitation. This limitation is necessary to ensure that all persons wishing to speak may do so, and all agenda items listed will be concluded this evening. If you wish to speak, complete one of the yellow cards if you haven't already. They're located up at the sign-in table. All guests are asked to sign their attendance whether speaking. First up is citizens, and we'll get to certified staff and classified staff. And to start off with citizens speaking, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Please. Sure. Oh, yeah, you're.
Okay, so you need my name and address, right? Okay, I'm Rebecca Ponto. This is my daughter, Julia Ponto. She's a junior at the high school here. She's also enrolled in the middle college program and an active participant in many of our other activities. She is currently representing our VEX robotics program, who just finished up at state. We're coming to speak about the ending of VEX robotics and the change to FIRST robotics. I'm going to pull up my letter here really quick. So we were deeply concerned about the recent decision to change Robotics Club from VEX to FIRST. Outside of the timing of the announcement before state, that was very disruptive. We're more concerned about the lack of communication and involvement from the students and parents. There was no student input in the change. There was no parent input. And it was just a out of the blue change to our club and no real communication about why or how or what that looks like. So we've had several conversations with Principal Dorn and continue to work on having more meetings with her. At this time, we are hoping to find a way that VEX Robotics can stay within our school or our community alongside First Robotics. There doesn't seem to be any reason why they can't coincide at the same time. And the community and these students have found a huge positive impact in their lives and in their education by being part of VEX Robotics. Not only part of the Sandy Club, but outside when we go to multiple tournaments, we meet other community members. They have so many connections that they have made over the years. And I'm going to just go over some of the awards that they have won. It has an outstanding history of success, not only regionally, but also at the state and world level. Since 2009, we have qualified 24 teams for the VEX Worlds competition and have maintained a consistent track record of qualifying teams for Worlds for 15 consecutive years. In addition, our program has had remarkable success at the state championship, winning 6 state titles in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 22, with 2020 being likely another qualifying year if it hadn't been canceled due to COVID. At the world level, our teams have made their mark in several divisions, including a remarkable 4th place finish in 2014. At my time? Yeah, finish up. Oh, okay. And in 2011, our team reached the semifinals of the technology division. In 2018, we finished in the top 24 of over 800 teams worldwide. These successes are a testament of the dedication, teamwork, and leadership of our students, coaches, and supporters. The VEX program has a long history of preparing students for competition and success in robotics, and this is a legacy worth preserving. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Patel, can you just send that when you get a chance to Tricia?
Yeah, I can send it to Trisha.
Next up, Mario.
My name is Mario Heckel. I'm a junior here at Sandy and part of the VEX robotics program, as well as multiple other programs in the school. I just wanted to kind of reinstate what Rebecca just had said. We've been part of VEX since the 3rd year. VEX itself was a program, so we have a long history in this early robotics club. And VEX goes beyond high school; it goes up to the university level and down to as young as kindergarten and preschool even. It's a large and it's really a great community that we are, as students, happy to be a part of. When the decision was made, it was just very abrupt. It was, how I felt was, it was telling us how it is and that this decision is made and there's like no say we have. It is how I felt. I don't mind if FRC and VEX Robotics can be both a part of the school. However, I don't see the point of VEX being cut entirely. It's abrupt. As Rebecca said, we have had many awards. We compete at a good level. We always have. And Sandy has just had a reputation of being that good, I guess, in lack of better words. Every year, the majority of our teams go to state. I believe it was my freshman year, only 1 team did not make it to state. This last year, I'm not sure if any teams didn't make it to state. And then this year, I think we had 1 team as well that just did not make it to state. And at that, they were a freshman team, still working on building up those skills, of which now that they've built up are being exchanged for FRC, which as far as I know, there's not much crossover. I had emailed Mr. Frank for just kind of details on how this decision was made and when. I have a meeting with him tomorrow after school to get those details done. I think much else to say.
Are you wanting to say? It's one more.
I'll recognize the chair.
We have one more speaker. If you wanna come here right now.
Perfect.
I'm Julia Ponto. I am a junior here at the high school as well as the program VEX at the high school. The VEX robotics program has not been affiliated with the school officially until this year and partially last year. We have been told that the FRC program wants to keep the parts that we have accumulated over the last 16 years for their projects. That there has been roughly $10,000 put into the program every year, from which has become from sponsors and student fundraising. This year, I do not know the exact numbers, but we have gotten significantly less fundraising. In previous years, our teams were able to go to all of the available VEX tournaments. This meant roughly 6 teams went to at least 10 tournaments a year. This coincides with the school year and is just as much work as an athletic sport is. This year, many teams did not get to go to all of the tournaments they had wanted to. There were limited spots because presumably we were not able to pay for these parts, for these activities for our teams to go to. This was, in my point of view, a failure on our coach's part and a failure on the school's part to help us. Because we are not affiliated with the school, these activities are not funded by the school. Every year, we only get $100 from the school, and that is because of the Booster Club. Students pay almost $200 in club fees so we can operate the way we do, the way we have operated for 16 years. There's so many people in our community that connect with us as Sandy that we were asked at state whether we would come back next year. Because we didn't know the answer for sure, we were like, I hope to see you next year. This is because we have made memories and memories of people that many people have gone to Worlds and met people internationally that know who Sandy is. And if Sandy Robotics were to not exist anymore as a team, there would be a gaping hole in the VEX robotics community in which would not be able to be filled until further notice. We are a center of knowledge that was hoped to be passed to FRC people and FIRST people, but this knowledge is not entirely applicable. So we hope that we have the chance to be independent from the school. Thank you.
Certified staff.
Good evening, everyone. With the nice weather we've been having, not today, of course, but still there's been some. And spring break just around the corner, which is wild. Spring fever has definitely set in a little bit, so educators are working to keep students focused and productive. They were definitely a little subdued today with daylight savings time starting. It made me realize that having the Monday after the time change off might be something to consider I know it's too late for right now, but like, just bank it, just bank it. Anyway, sorry, just future was the key phrase there. All right. And then since our contract ends at the end of the 2025-2026 school year, we will be bargaining with the district next year. So we've begun putting together a bargaining team so we can work on meeting with members to find out what some of the most important issues are and what they would like us to focus on. So while the actual bargain is still a little ways out, it's exciting to get the process started. And that's our update. Thank you.
So finishing citizens agenda, let's move back to student representative.
Sorry, we were sitting driving her down there in Rock Trials a minute ago, so. Sorry, guys.
Once again, sorry, I'm late. And sorry about the appearance, I come straight from tennis practice and will continue to be here until 8:30 at night, so I'm a busy gal. But for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Sophie Ian, I'm the school's ASB president. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be president again. I've been quite busy since the last time I was here. In the last 6 months, I've been helping prepare our mock trial team for their regional competition, which was held on March 1st. And we competed, obviously, and our pink team, which is technically our highest level team, took 3rd overall, and we were able to qualify for our state competition, which will be hosted this weekend at the Marco Hatfield Federal Courthouse in Portland. It's our first time competing at state in years after reviving the program after Chris Myers left. And this is a pretty big thing for us, especially because we are the only public school that competes in our region. So it's a particularly notable accomplishment for us. And then just kind of going into our little update, last week, our sophomores participated in Thrive at 25, which I don't really know what that is, because I missed that. And then, but I guess it gives students a chance to see how their financial future may play out based on possible future professions and all the expenses that they can expect to have 10 years down the road, including healthcare, housing, taxes, and more. It's kind of heavy. And then this week we have our 8th grade CTE tours, which I'll be helping lead. Our 8th graders from our middle schools will have an opportunity to kind of tour the building and see what programs we have to offer. My little sister will be one of them. And then we just wrapped up winter sports. Our boys basketball team made it to playoffs. Go boys. Our wrestling team won the district title, and we have 12 athletes compete at state. Surprise. And then 2 of our wrestlers placed 5th at state. Our swim team had 9 students place at districts, but I don't believe any of them qualified for state. And then our boys ski team qualified for state, with 2 of our girls qualifying individually, which is a huge accomplishment. And our snowboarding team competes at state this week at Meadows. And then our cheer team participated at state this year, which is also very huge because it's their first time competing in state for several years. So it looks like Sandy High School's got a lot of stuff going on that hasn't happened in quite a few years. I would also like to highlight our Sandy students who participate in DECA, because recently was SEDC, and which is kind of like a regional DECA competition. And for those of you who don't know what DECA is, it's like a club for kids to basically practice business running skills. And so one of our students, Kirsten Hansen, who is also in speech and debate with me, will be competing in this year's DECA International Career Development Conference in Orlando, also known as ICDC. And Kirsten's inclusion at ICDC is based on her overall performance at the state level, which brought over 1,200 students from around the state to compete at a bunch of competitive events. Her event was automotive services marketing, where her composite score between a written exam and her 2 role plays placed her in the top 4 students in the state to qualify for this event. Definitely a pretty notable accomplishment. And what makes this even more insane to me is that this is her 2nd time in the last 3 years that she's getting the opportunity to compete at ICDC. And over 20,000 students will be there, and this year it's hosted at Orlando, Florida. And then this might be my favorite part. One of my close friends, senior Charlie Bloomer, who is the co-editor-in-chief of the Pioneer Press, was recently named 2025 Oregon High School Journalist of the Year by the Oregon Journalism Education Association, which means she's now a candidate for the National High School Journalist of the Year, which will be announced at the Spring National High School Convention, which is being held in Seattle this year. The state award comes with $1,000 scholarship, and she had to submit an online portfolio of her work, transcripts, a letter of recommendation, and an analytical essay about her journalistic life. She is the 4th Sandy student to win the award overall since 2010. And I don't think what's written down here really puts into words how remarkable that accomplishment is for her. And I'm really proud of her for that. And then, oh yeah, I guess the ending is just Miller writing down an explanation of what DECA is in case you guys didn't know what that was. She knows you guys do well, apparently. Anyway, that's all for an update from me. Hopefully next time one of us is here, we get to tell you that our mock trial team qualified for nationals. So till next time.
Next on our agenda is the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Next up, action items, draft school calendar for 2025-26 and draft school calendar 26-27.
Yes, sir.
So includes daylight savings.
They didn't make a note of that, so if they could move daylight savings time, then we wouldn't have to move our board meetings. It's on the same.
Any motions?
But I do. I do have that noted. So for the next 2-year cycle, we'll take a look at that. As we discussed last month, we adopt our calendars typically on a 2-year cycle. We do that in conjunction with our certified and classified units. We went through a long process a number of years ago, coming out of the closure to attempt to create greater opportunity for students and staff to have a more 3-day weekends opportunities just to kind of decompress. So what we have in front of you today is really just I guess the landing spot from all of those meetings. This 2-year cycle follows the last 2 years pretty typically. There's just some qualifiers that what we heard when we did that from a number of parents, from our teachers at large, were that if we could try to protect days after Halloween, where kids might not have to come right to school, they would appreciate that. So these calendars reflect that. We do conferences different than we've done in how we do them now. It's been historical for about the last 8 years or so, where we have that whole week off prior to, it was Monday, Tuesday, kids to school, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday were the weeks for folks to spend time with family to enjoy Thanksgiving. So you'll see those things. And our calendar does appear to be just a tad bit longer maybe than most others in schools, because we've taken some spots, we've added some, there's no contract days that we negotiate with our unions. So we see a no contract day. That's literally a day where folks aren't contracted to work. So if they're not contracted to work, we have no school. And those days primarily, I think, come in February. So you might have noticed that this year, and then for the longest time, there were no days off in April. It was just a long March to the end of May, where we had Memorial Day. And so we've done everything we can to work with our bargaining units to add some days in April and May, so that kids and staff alike can see sunlight at the end of the tunnel. So both of these calendars will reflect that. As we discussed last month, September in 2025 feels like it comes really, really early. It actually starts, the first is a Monday, so that's the holiday, and because of that, there's a little more opportunity between there and the end of the typical end of the school year to add some more non-contract days. And then in 26, 27, not so much the case, because the school year really ends up starting later in September, and that pushes us closer. And what we heard from our members is that they don't really want to go to school at any days in June that start with a 2. So we try to avoid the 20th through the rest of June. And that's what we had. And I really did make a note on the daylight savings piece. So I wasn't making that up. So that's there. We reflected in the meeting minutes now. Thoughts, questions?
Make a motion to approve the calendar as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. Everybody looks like they're totally in the zone. Should we take a vote? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next up, information discussion items,
Nothing for this evening.
announcements. April 1st, 2025, Board Budget Committee Workshop at 6 o'clock, Sandy High Lecture Room. April 1st, 2025 as well. OTA Board Meeting, 5:30 p.m. online via Zoom. April 14th, 2025, School Board Meeting, 7 o'clock, Sandy High Lecture Room. Anything else? None, any adjourned? Yeah.